All right. Okay, here we are. We are live, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the big show. It's your buddy Bruce here, traveling with Bruce, TWB, live on Monday,
Now on
May
Showcase,
the
a new
29th, 2023. It's Memorial Day in America. It's a holiday for the U.S., folks. Welcome, everybody from the USA. From the rest of the planet, you may have had a regular work day today. I don't know, but welcome one and all to my channel and to my live show tonight. Got some cruise news for you. Got some cruise deals I'll throw your way that you can think about going on. And we'll just hang out and say hi to each other. How you been? Have you got any questions about cruising or anything you've heard that I need to know about? Welcome everyone to the channel. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button if you can. Help us out. We hit 100 again last week. It's incredible. We hit 100 thumbs ups on last week's show, if I recall. And it's the folks who are here live and the folks watching on the rerun. If you're watching this show tonight, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this week, thank you for coming in here and hitting that thumbs up button, letting us know what number you are if you want to. I get a particular delight in getting these email alerts on my phone during the week, and it'll say, oh, so-and-so just sent you an email message or sent you a message on YouTube, and you click on it. Hi, Bruce, I missed your show, but I'm number 89 on the thumbs up meter. Well, you got to love that. Then I get the messages. I'm 92, I'm 97, I'm 105, I'm 115. It's great. Thank you all. Helping the channel out, get some exposure. We do appreciate it. Welcome all of you to the show. Shady Hill Homestead is here. Robert is here. Brittany Anderson is here today. Hello, Mrs. Brittany Anderson. Brittany has done the ultimate move today. She has become a member of this channel. She has rejoined and is a member again of this channel. And it is just so lovely to have you here. She said she has some ear problems. And I got all my ears doing really way better than it was last week. Not sure I'm over the infection yet, but I'm doing well. I battled some swelling here. Had vegetable, my ice packs of choice, and a heating pad. Oh my God, this is something. This was something. I have tons of supplies for my ear issues. I have no idea what this cost. 2 items are needed for homemade earplugs, Vaseline and cotton balls. I think it was number 5. She says, I say, Brittany, thank you for being a member of this channel. And you've been here before, and you've been here with me a long time. And I'm glad you're feeling better. And I hope it just is completely back to normal ASAP. Jeannie is in the house with Bill from East Tennessee. Hello, Bruce and TWBers. We're here for the big show. Currently 70 degrees. Not bad out there. We've got some pretty good weather here. I'll talk to you about in a minute. Tom Henry, number 9. Hello, everybody. Hi, Tom. He's getting ready for his big trip. Donnell, hi, Bruce and all. I'm number 9. Thumbs ups tonight. Welcome, Donnell from Cork, Ireland. Ken Koreka is here. Hi, Bruce and Jen from Janet and Ken, I should say. The temperature in Saginaw, Michigan is a sunny 77 degrees with highs expected in the 90s this week. Gas is $3.66 per gallon. Good evening. And it's numbers. We're number 6 on the thumbs up meter tonight. Thank you, guys. Tom Henry, how can we both be number 1? I smell a conspiracy here. Kirk, hi, Bruce and TB family. Number 12 here. Stephen Butler. Number 11 right here on the like button. Gas $3.25 a gallon. It's 81 degrees right now, partly cloudy. Nice day in Northwest Arkansas. Decoration Day this past weekend. All the cemeteries have flowers, etc., in memory of those who've passed on. Donnell, yep, Tom, the software is slow tonight. Stephen Butler, Decoration Day is observed at many small towns and rural cemeteries in this part of the country, says Steve. Sylvia is in the house tonight. How you doing, Sylvia? I got your message last week that you couldn't make the show, but you gave me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Number 13 tonight, Ms. M is here. Hello, Bruce and all. Nice to see you tonight. Jason Kimmons, good evening, Bruce, from a warm Lakeland, Florida. I've been laid up sick all day. Hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. Let's hope so. Stephen Butler looks like a Carnival ship. Carnival Sunshine got caught in a storm. There's a little bit of irony. It's the name, it's Carnival Sunshine, caught in a storm. Go figure. I got a story on that. Stand by. Ms. M, number 14, sunny here. Gas is up to near $2 a liter. $7.40 a gallon Canadian for a U.S. gallon. Yikes. Sylvia, hi, Bruce. Still daylight at 8 p.m. Yeah, it's 6:04 here in Calgary. It's a beautiful day today. We've had a beautiful couple of days weather-wise. Right now in Calgary, 76 degrees. Today's high was 78. And tomorrow, 79 and sunny. Going to be lovely. Although we're going into the mid to high 60s Thursday, Friday with a bit of rain, but we don't mind that. A little break, a little rain comes through, clears the air out, and the grass explodes and the flowers go crazy, and it's sunny again. It's beautiful. Daryl Watts is in the house. I'm number 14, buddy. Welcome, sir. Rocky. Hi there, TW fans. Number 7, Rocky Grasso. Daryl Watts. Bruce, I'm number 15 now. Tom Henry. Hi there, Sylvia. I told Lance to come by and surprise us. Guess he got lost. Kate PM. Hi, everybody. I'm number 21. Sylvia, finally stopped raining since Friday around here in North Carolina. What a big mess it has been and cold. Could not get out of the 60s for the weekend. Jeff Dinan. Good day, everybody. Number 22. Welcome, sir, to the show from down under, I believe, Melbourne. Alberto is in the house. How you doing, man? Alberto is here from New Jersey. How are you, my friend? Great to see you from my other channel. Great to have you in the house, and I hope you're well, and I look forward to seeing you, of course, tomorrow morning on Stock Markets with Bruce, is where normally Alberto and I hang out. Great to have you in tonight, man. It's nice to see you. Earlier this past weekend, I just wanted to let you folks know, this past weekend, I just got back from British Columbia. Jennifer and I and my daughter and my daughter's boyfriend, we took a car ride. I rented a Tesla Model Y. And on Friday, we headed out to British Columbia. We ended up going back to Creston, where we used to live. Jen and I used to have a house in Creston, British Columbia. We drove by the old house and saw it. And then we kept on driving. We went across the Kootenay Lake to near a community called Nelson, British Columbia. And we ended up at the lakeside, and you can take a peek here. My daughter took this beautiful photo here from inside underneath some trees, and she got a really nice shot. I took a larger photo here of Kootenay Lake. This is looking south. This lake is about 100 miles long, and this is only about 10 miles of the lake, if that, maybe 8 miles, 5 miles. But this area right here, this particular spot near the shoreline, this is an area that I visited here with my family 22 years ago, actually. 22 years ago, my mother and my sister and I and wife and I and all, we came here, and at that time we spread the ashes of my father in this area of the lake. And this past weekend, I returned with my better half, my daughter and my sister, her husband, and we spread the ashes of my mother in the same area. So now my mom and dad are together again forevermore here at Kootenay Lake in British Columbia. It was a wonderful weekend. The weather was really actually quite nice. Don't let this photo fool you. It was a gorgeous weather. You can see the sun shining here, and it's a serene spot. Means a lot to us. My dad loved this area. My mother loved this area. They lived there most of their, well, as a matter of fact, interesting enough, they moved to Creston, British Columbia in 1989. And my father died in 2000. My mother passed away in 2021. And she lived in this house in Creston from 1989 until 2015. So she was in this one house for 26 years. And that was the longest stretch of time she ever spent in one location in her entire lifetime. And Jennifer and I, we ended up buying the house from my mother's estate as she was getting on in her last years. Her memory was going and dementia was setting in. So we got her set up in a beautiful place here in Calgary to live out her last years in very nice comfort. And we bought her house. We had it appraised, and we bought the house. We moved to Creston, and we sold the house just a year and a half ago. And so this is the first time I've been back to Creston since we had moved from there back to here. And it was great to see the little town and that region again. So it was a lovely closure of the chapter for my mother and my father, and we got that done. So just want to let you know about that. That went very, very well, and we're pleased about how it all worked out. Welcome all to the channel. Thank you, Alberto, for being number 23. Thank you, buddy. Cruising on the high seas and travel. Good day, y'all. Nikki Singleton, greetings all from Jacksonville, 77 in the backyard right now. Sylvie, Tom, Henry, hi there. JNN Travels, good evening. Cruising on the high seas and travel. Oh, you moved. Where to? How long ago? JNN, cruising on the high seas, 8:07 p.m. Cruising on the high seas says, good day, John. So hello, everybody from everyone else. Yeah, we're in Calgary now. Jen and I have been nomads since we left Creston in September of 2021. 2021. And all of last year and most of this year, well, so far this year, we've been on the road until we grabbed this apartment here in Calgary. But we're about to travel again. And those of you who are curious, Jen and I are going to be out of here the third week of August until about the third week of October, and we're going to end up in New York, Europe, New York, and here. And we're plotting strategy to have a get together, a meet and greet in New York City for viewers of this channel, TWB, and my viewers of Stock Markets with Bruce channel as well. And so that is going to be somewhere the second week of October, kind of 15th, the 17th, the 19th, somewhere in there. We'll let you know when we know more, but we're looking forward to that. Once we get back in the latter part of October, we'll be back here in Calgary for about 3 weeks. And then we're gone again. We're flying to Australia. We're going to be in Australia, New Zealand for our winter and their summer. And that is our plan to head down under. So, Jeff Tynan, watch out. We're coming into your neighborhood, among other Aussies that are watching us. Anyone from down under, anyone watching us from New Zealand, watch out. We're coming to your town. There might be some meet and greets down under. We're looking forward to all of this. So stay tuned, everybody. We're excited about the whole thing. Sylvia, Tom, are you going to meet Bruce in New York City? What's going to happen? Hopefully that will be the case. It's a question of timing and where's everybody at and all the movement that everyone is doing. We'll sort of figure it out as we go, but cross our fingers and we can get a get together done. And we'll say hi to everybody and try to find a place to meet at and meet and greet. That will be kind of fun. Looking forward to it very much. All right. Well, let me fill you in on some news that's going on today. You may have seen some of this already on other channels or through other media already. There's been all kinds of stuff going on out there. There was a fire on a cruise ship in Australia. Look at this photo right here. You can see on the bottom right of this photo the water, and then you see a person sort of sticking their head out of off their balcony, looking kind of back and up behind them and up a few decks. There's the fire coming off obviously a balcony, and the ship is known as the P&O Pacific Adventure is what the ship is called. Now, if you look at the ship closely, you probably will recognize that this sure looks like a princess ship, doesn't it? Certainly from 10, 15 years ago, the princess ships looked a lot like this. You had your front area of the ship where you had the very front, you had the crew pool. Then just behind the bridge, you had a pool there for the higher enders. Then you had a pool in the middle of the ship for everybody. And then you had the big screen. And behind the big screen, there was an enclosed area, another pool there, and then you had the back of the ship over there. I guess the folks were told to go to their muster stations, go to your cabin, grab your life jacket, and go to your muster station immediately. And so passengers were scattered all over the ship as the crew were battling this blaze on board the ship. And she was off the coast of Australia. 4 cabins, there were damage to 4 cabins, and 3,000 passengers were on board, 1,000 crew, and they say there were no injuries, and the cruise was a 4 or a 5 day cruise to nowhere. It was just a cruise off the coast, and it was supposedly a comedy cruise. It was a bunch of comedy acts on board the ship, sketch comedy, stand-up comedians, all that sort of stuff. Although I doubt there were many laughs going on when the fire was ablazing. The rumor is that somebody was smoking something and it caught fire. It could have been that somebody was smoking in another cabin, flicked their cigarette out, and it came right back onto the ship. And this is not uncommon, where a fire will break out on a balcony where someone left a towel maybe, and the cigarette that was flicked 15 cabins away, deck or two higher. Somebody flicked it and went out, and then the wind just brought it right back in. And by that time the cigarette butt came back to the ship had moved forward 150 feet, and now this butt, the cigarette butt, which is all charged up with air because it's in the air and it's getting all this extra oxygen, is ready to catch anything on fire. And sure enough, this could have been going for 15-20 minutes before it was detected. And then when it was detected, it was really underway. You don't know with these, you get 4 or 5 towels on the deck that are just sitting on deck chairs. Here go the deck chairs. Here go the towels, and you don't know what else catches and how many other cabins now catch sparks from other cabins. Oh, you don't know. So anyway, there's like I say, there's a really photo that's everywhere. It's all over the media everywhere. This photo is everywhere in the media, and folks are okay. But that was the ship, and you can see how many, like the 6 or 7 levels of balconies out there. So who knows how it started and where it started, but that did happen. Unbelievable. The other news that came out had to do with this ship here, the Princess, or the Sky Princess is the name of this one. The Sky Princess. Now, this is, of course, what the brand new Princess ships look like. The Sky Princess apparently is having issues. And I wanted to mention this because I'm getting a gut feel that we're going to hear more of these stories, not fewer of these stories. The story about this ship was that the Sky Princess had left Southampton and is doing a Scandinavian cruise for 7 nights, and is supposed to stop at several cities, including Oslo, Copenhagen, and others. And the ship, the story goes that this room right here, the engine room, now, I cannot guarantee that this picture is actually the real engine room of the ship, but this will give you an idea of kind of a little bit of what an engine room looks like. It is just, there's machinery everywhere. It's unbelievable. It's noisy in there. There's lots of moving parts, mechanicals in there. The engine room of a ship not only is there to propel the ship forward, there are generators on board to generate electricity for the electrical system for navigation, the electrical system for all the lighting, the electrical systems for all the air conditioning and airflow. Then there's the plumbing systems, the kitchens, the laundry, the entertainment, the pools, the filters. I mean, you talk about a 4,000 passenger ship with 1,500 crew. You're talking about a small town of 5,500 people looked after by onboard mechanical machinery, tended by 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week personnel to keep it all working. I mean, it's a modern miracle of human engineering, a modern day cruise ship. It really is. We take it for granted unless there's a glitch. And here is the glitch. This cruise ship was supposedly doing what they called regular scheduled maintenance on a generator, on an onboard generator. My hunch is that what was going on was there's more than one generator on board the ship. The generator not only generates all the electricals, it also generates the power for the azipods. Those are the propellers down below. These are the azipods that turn 360 degrees underneath the ships. Usually there's two or three at the back, sometimes one or two at the front, and they can steer the ship. The ship is standing straight in the water. It can do a 360 turn all by itself. You don't need a lifeboat anymore. Well, these azipods are run by electricity. They're not run by steam generation. They're not run by pistons, and they don't have these shafts that go down the length of the back of the ship like the Titanic had, where you had the coal-fired boilers and they generated power to turn these shafts to turn the propeller. Now it's electronics. So you've got engines on board the ships that burn fuel. Most of the newer ones now, the brand new ships are coming out with liquid natural gas. They burn fuel to generate power into the generators to create electricity. And the generators are generating enough wattage to handle the engines. Other generators handle the water systems, the air conditioning system, and on it goes. Very complicated. Well, apparently this particular generator was getting routine work done on it when they discovered there's a problem here. Bigger problem than we thought. The more they looked into what was causing the generator not powering up its part of the deal here, the worse it got. And they want to talk about, and this is typical cruise line talk, they'll say stuff like, oh, it's just scheduled maintenance is what we're running into. That's not true. Scheduled maintenance is when a cruise ship goes into dry dock. After 2 years of continual service, or 4 years, or 5 years, depending on the model and the size of the ship, they go into they don't offer a cruise for 2 weeks or a month or 2 months. The ship is offline and it goes into a dry dock facility where it pulls into this pier, and they close the door behind it, and they drain the water out, and the ship is sitting on giant stilts, and they can work on the entire ship below deck and above. And this is when you do scheduled maintenance of a major type of a job. So you might change out an azipod system. You might replace a generator. You might rebuild a generator. You might rebuild an engine. You're going to do millions of dollars of work, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, below deck, and you're going to do painting and carpet replacement, televisions in every room, out, televisions going in. I mean, everything. And you can go for a 45-day refurbishment that will run you $2 to $3 million a day. You'll drop $120, $150 million. And when that ship comes out of dry dock, there's brand new everything all over the place. That's scheduled. A generator that needs to be rebuilt while at sea is not scheduled. This is an emergency. And so what's happening here is the ship is basically limping along at a reduced speed. They won't tell you that, but that's truly what's going on, because the announcement they made was they're going to go into Oslo, but they're going to get into Oslo a couple of hours later than normal, and they're going to leave Oslo a couple of hours sooner than normal. When you have 4 hours of shore time taken away, that means the ship needs 4 extra hours to get to its next location. That's all it means. It's nothing complicated. The ship cannot run at top speed. Is the ship in danger of sinking? No. It's just not going to run at top speed. Thankfully, the generator in question is not an air conditioning generator, or the one that controls the toilets, or the one that controls the dishwashers and all the power needs of the kitchen. Now, this is a propulsion generator, and there's probably 3 of them, and 2 of them are operating just fine. But what they figured out, and again, they're not going to tell you this, but they figured out that as they were digging into it, and they thought they could fix it quick. Wherever the port of call was, they realized, oh no, the parts we need for this generator, there are more parts we need because it's worse than we thought. And it's repairable. It really is. It's repairable on the fly. I can tell you that they likely have parachuted in, from airplanes. They landed them in to Copenhagen or wherever. They brought in extra technicians. They certainly flew in emergency replacement parts. I mean, the factory that built and designed this generator has already been contacted, and they're probably in contact 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by email and text, factory to technicians. We need this, we need this, we need this, we need this. And so the parts are being shipped flown to the ship, wherever the ship is, and the parts are being delivered right to the pier, right onto the ship, while all the passengers are out gallivanting along in Oslo or wherever, oblivious to the fact that back down below in the engine room, there are 20, 30, I don't know how many people working feverishly to get this generator up and running. Now, here's what I wanted to mention on top of all that. I wanted to give you all that background. The reason I'm saying this to you is, look, from 2020 and 2021, what did we have? We had the pandemic. And what did the cruise lines do? They had to shut down all travel, and they basically put their ships into the water, kept them in the water with a skeleton crew, and they just, kept them sitting there. They kept them sitting in the water, and they would sail the ship maybe once every 2 weeks to a port. Like, for example, off the coast of Miami, there were 100 cruise ships within 100 miles of Miami at all times, sitting in international waters just off the coast of the Bahamas and the US. And they would sail in once every 2 weeks into Miami with a pre-arranged visitation only for supplies. They would offload their sewage. They would onload fresh water if they needed it, but they would onload fuel to survive another 2 weeks. They would bring on medical supplies from the doctors that they needed for, again, looking after the crew. They would bring on food, of course, the fresh food, all the other waste and whatever would offload. But there would be no exchange of people. There were no passengers and all that stuff. And then the ship would go back out to sea, and it would go back out for, 4 hours later, would be back where it was supposed to be, and it would drop anchor and just sit there. And the ship they kept them on, they kept the electronics running. They would have security people and crew people go through all the cabins, flushing the toilets at least once or twice a day by schedule to keep the water running, to keep the systems operating. Run the tap, run the shower, shut it off, go to the next cabin, turn on the shower, run the tap, turn it off, flush the toilet, check the paperwork. Joe was here at 12:15. Frank was here at 1:30. Betty was here at 1:16. Whatever. And they were constantly doing this in the kitchens and in the bars and in the nightclubs, and it just kept everything working, right? The problem was the ships weren't running. They weren't going anywhere. And so they were just sitting there idling. And what you had here was there were dozens and dozens of ships that had pre-organized and or pre-booked dry docks coming up in 2020, 2021, and 2022. But the cruise lines were trying to survive. They had no money coming in. They had ships sitting there. They had to pay insurance on them. They had to make their payments to their bankers. They had to pay the crews that were on the ships. They had to pay for the fuel, the food, millions of dollars going out the door every day to keep the fleet ready at any time to kick back into gear. And dry docks were canceled, or let's put it this way, they were delayed. And a number of ships were supposed to get maintenance work done on generators, on engines, on air conditioning systems, on exhaust systems. Major work was supposed to be done in 2020, 21, 2022, and now for ships that would by now have been at sea for 5 full years with the maintenance requirements of a 5-year-old, fully, kind of tired looking cruise ship. So the cruise lines began to hold everything off because they were trying to save expenditures. And so dry docks were put off and put off and put off. And in some cases, dry dock facilities shut down. COVID, they shut down the dry docks. So now the ships couldn't even come in for that. This story about this particular cruise ship, the Sky Princess, is, I think, not so uncommon a story that we may hear about for another 2 years. This is going to take 2 years from now for all of the ships to have been through a dry dock sequence that should have been through their dry docks. Because right now, you can't get a ship into dry dock. They're all full booked up. Everyone's sailing and getting their ships refurbished, trying to keep them at sea and run them. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this particular ship would normally have gone in the dry dock for 2 weeks on an emergency, can't get into a dry dock. So they're deciding, well, we'll just sail it. We'll just sail this sucker. We'll bring the techs onto the boat and we'll do the repair while at sea. And all day long for 8 hours or 6 hours, she's sitting in Copenhagen or Oslo's port or other ports, Helsinki, and we'll have techs and parts dropped off, picked up, installed, and tested until we get it done. And that's likely what it is. And luckily for Princess, because this is a Scandinavian cruise, the distances involved here are not thousands of kilometers between stops. So they will make their ports of call on the same day they're supposed to make their ports of call, but they won't have as many hours available on shore. And that is what's going on with this story. So you are going to hear, you probably have heard, if you've heard anything about this story at all, about the Sky Princess, that they're having a generator issue and it's being repaired at sea and it's scheduled. The real story is much deeper and worse than that. And I suspect there are dozens of ships around the world that have been experiencing these kinds of breakdowns, but they're not severe enough to cause complete cancellations for weeks on end. And so these ships are being repaired on the fly. And I suspect that's going on. Okay, so another story that's making the rounds, it's all about the Carnival Sunshine. The Carnival Sunshine is right here. This is what she looks like. She has a new paint job for Carnival, that blue bow there with the red trim. That's the new look of Carnival ships, that being all white. And normally when you're on the ship, this is kind of what you're looking at. You're at the front of the ship looking towards the back, and you're looking at those chairs and those umbrellas and the big screen over top of the main pool, and that beautiful water in the background. Oh, but no, that's not what it looked like the other day. The other day it looked like this. This is what passengers on board this ship were experiencing. All the umbrellas were tied down and were still flapping in the wind. This ship ended up coming back to Charleston in what passengers could only describe as a near hurricane. The cruise line has admitted that the ship went through some active seas. There was a little bit of turbulence and a little bit of wind, and there were a couple of minor injuries suffered by some passengers who, fell over, bumped into a wall. They didn't talk about this. They didn't say anything about this. Here's part of the deck all ripped to shreds. All kinds of damage on board the ship. There's damage all over the place. And apparently, if you want to really see what's going on, you can go to Google and enter Carnival Sunshine storm, and you will see videos of crew areas down below, flooded, 2 feet of water down below in the crew decks, sloshing about as the ship is being tossed from side to side. Apparently, the waves were as high as 80 feet, 60 feet in some cases. And this was a real nasty ride. And apparently the passengers were complaining that the captain made no announcements. They had no warning. They had no idea this is going on. They had no idea how long they would have to endure it. They had no idea how bad it would be. The ship at one point stopped in the ocean, just stopped. And they just shut down the motors, and she just got pummeled along. And the waves are so bad, the ship didn't dare go forward because it would be worse. So they just decided to stop the ship in the sea and just kind of go up and down with the waves. Puke everywhere, people throwing up in the hallways, children crying, complete disarray, a total nut job going on there. Like I said, this is what it's supposed to be like. You got that water slide back there and fun for the kids and all that good stuff. And welcome to the horror show. I'll tell you, there's nothing worse feeling than being in the middle of the ocean and there's no way you can be rescued. Nobody can get you. And this here is just a smidgen of what happened. Apparently the bars, the bottles of booze spilled out, and a bunch of dishes fell over in the dining rooms, and you couldn't get anything to eat. You couldn't go, you couldn't do anything on the ship. You basically, really what you had to do was just hunker down in your cabin and hang on for dear life. But you got to hope that the lights don't go out. I tell you, it was unbelievable. 40 to 80 foot waves, 80-mile-an-hour winds were recorded in some cases, and the ship was on a 5-day cruise. And the ship got back to Charleston 9 hours later than scheduled. Guess what? They got all the passengers off the ship at midnight, got all the passengers on the ship after midnight, and went back out to sea for another 5-day cruise. They weren't stopping for nothing. They were doing another, even with the damage. I don't know how cleaned up it is. I don't know how the folks who are on the ship now are doing. I don't know how happy they are. I don't know what kind of damage they can see, whatever. I have no idea. By the way, this first story I was telling you about with the fire at sea, remember this photo right here? I was telling you about that. The adventure, the Pacific Adventure. What an adventure. What can a cigarette butt do? Check this out. This is the damage a cigarette can do to a cruise ship if the fire gets out of control. And what you end up having is a fire that is so hot, so damaging that it melts the steel of the cabins, the balconies, and everything else. And you can imagine the debris falling from this burn zone on the rest of the ship. And obviously, you get a cabin, near the frontier of this damaged area, it'll light up the rest of them behind it, especially if the ship is moving or if the ship is facing the wind. On a windy day, whether you're at sea or in port, if you have a fire on board a ship, wind can exasperate the problem. It's just a fan. And because the cruise ships, these cabins are enclosed, little caves, the flames will build up inside the protected shell of a cabin. Out of control. I mean, it's a nightmare. And fire is a big, big no-no on any vessel, including cruise ships. So, yeah, they took it pretty seriously out there. But again, the cruise line saying, "Oh, it's no big deal. Just 4 cabins, partially affected. It's no big deal." No one is talking about. One of the questions that was being asked now was, are there sprinkler systems on board this cruise ship? Certain countries insist that cruise ships that carry more people than a certain number of people or more, you have to have sprinklers even on the outside balconies. But these older ships in certain jurisdictions don't need it. And what the cruise lines do is they take their older ships to jurisdictions where they can run them for as long as possible without having to make the investment in these upgrades until they finally scrap them. I don't know if that's the deal here on this ship. I can't honestly tell you whether this one, which is probably 25, 30 years old, I can't tell you because looking at this photo, I can't say whether or not there are any sprinkler systems on the outside of these balconies or not. But I've been on ships like this. I've been on the Princess ship. I'm certain inside this room there are sprinkler heads between these lights, these spotlights. I think there are sprinkler heads in the main room, which makes sense. That wouldn't surprise me. But on the balconies themselves, like this one here, you can't tell if these guys have sprinkler heads or not on their balconies. But it is a big deal. And of course, on this ship, I can't tell you, because the Carnival Sunshine was known as wasn't it known as the Carnival Destiny at one time? This has got to be a 20-plus-year-old ship. I don't know if it has fire suppression either. Looking here, there might be fire suppression underneath there. I can't say, but not that this storm was a firestorm, but there may or may not be suppression systems up there. I can't really tell you. And anyway, next time you're on a cruise, take a look around your cabin. Do you have sprinklers in your cabin? You should. Are there sprinklers underneath your balcony in case your balcony lights up? I just mentioned it. I just asked. Just curious. You can let me know about that. Anyway, there's the news of the day, and I got some cruise deals for you that I'll tell you about. So let's see how that goes. By the way, thank you, all of you so far who have been here, and any of you who are putting up thumbs ups. We have 34 thumbs ups tonight going on. I appreciate that. If you can find that, thumbs up button, hit it for me, and let's get us closer to 100 before we call on the rerunners who are watching the show to hit the thumbs up. Get us over 100. Thank you all very, very, very much. All right, let's see what's going on here. Good evening, everybody. Let's see. Sylvia. Tom Henry says, to see Bruce in New York, it depends. As long as he doesn't do it when I'm on a cruise. He'll probably be there when I'm at sea, though. Cruising the high seas, when you come to the big city of TO, I don't know. Sylvia, my daughter's going to Greece and Turkey in September. She's flying over there. Tom Henry, I have some good points with United for a quick flight to Newark, though. Kirk Brunson, I'll be there, Bruce. Big Apple will welcome you for sure. Tom Henry, Norwegian has been too lax, in my opinion, dealing with smokers on balconies and pot smokers in rooms. Hopefully this fire gets them set on enforcing those rules. Sylvia, Tom, I think he will be in New York City mid-October or August. I missed when he said, yeah, it'll be mid-October is when I'm going to be there. Robert, I take it the stock market was closed Friday and today. It was open Friday, but I took Friday off to take care of a family matter. But we were closed today. I'll be on the air tomorrow. Tom Henry, Robert, I think only today cruise stocks are up for Cruise Radio News. Brittany, the ship was once known as the Golden Princess. That would be that Pacific Adventure. Robert says, yes, sir. I heard this. Sylvia, I don't want anyone smoking on a ship. It's enough I have to have bad weather, maybe in waves. I have to deal with knuckleheads smoking. Louise, I was supposed to be, hi, Bruce. I was supposed to be home right now. My mom is in a good hospital in Toronto. She has the same thing as Dawn and is waiting for emergency surgery. Oh, my gosh. I hope things go well. Susan R. Hey, all number 28, 29 thumbs ups right now. Drizzly all day here in Northern Virginia. Welcome, Susan R. Tom, I hear sirens. Are the Canadian Mounties going to crash Bruce's door again? They're looking for me. They can't find me. Don't know where I am. They don't know where I am. Rocky, I was on the Golden Princess return LA to Hawaii in 2012. My wife loved the 10 sea days. I love the shore excursions. Sylvia, Tom, I thought the same thing. They're coming to get Bruce again. Here we go. Tom, if the ship has azipods, those are electric motor operated engines. They need more power to get up to speed. So reduced speed can be a bad electrical situation in an azipod or an engine that is not up to full power. There you go, sir. Tom, Louise, hi, Bruce. I may be on a cruise ship by next Monday. Oh, my goodness. Sylvia, didn't this happen to another ship with those azipods? They weren't working correctly. This happens a lot, actually. Not an uncommon story. Susan R., glad to see Calgary has a Costco. No more long drives for you. Yes, we have, I think there are 5 of them here. 5 Costcos. The one Costco we have was North America's busiest Costco. The busiest. Then they opened 2 new Costcos within about 15 miles of that one to take the pressure off of it because it was getting too much. Tom Henry, too many new ships are having issues. Something is not right. Carnival's had issues for its new ships. Yep, Benway 23, thank you for your work. Thank you, Ben. And thank you for thumbs ups, everybody. Keep them coming in if you can. Louise, sometimes they give me too much cheese on the Zandam. I bring some saran wrap and cover my cheese and put it in my refrigerator. Then I bring it back the next day. I hope to get lots of cheese again. So it sounds like a vicious cycle here. Louise, it's really hot here in Canada around here right now. Usually the hotter weather arrives in June. It's hot now. Sylvia, did the Sunshine go back out on Saturday with passengers with that kind of damage? I don't see how they could. I know. It's unbelievable they did. 5-day turnaround cruises. Unbelievable. Jason, Carnival should dismiss that. They should dismiss that cabin. Unnecessary to sail through storms, and you can either sail around or hunker down in port somewhere. Kevin Gonzalez, after what happened on the infamous poop cruise on the Triumph years ago. I'm not surprised with Carnival. Profits before safety. Sylvia, Jason, that captain should have known the weather report before he left from where they came from. I lived in North Carolina, and we knew how the weather was going to be 5 days earlier. Alan Carter, Calgary, in the house, number 34. Thanks, Alan. As always, my friend, good to have you here, and thank you for joining us tonight. Sylvia, Jason, the weather was bad the whole weekend. Isaac, Waco, Texas, happy Memorial Day. Welcome, sir. Brittany, I've just been listening in once the show started. Welcome, Brittany. Larry Blake, number 37, Bruce. We're going to get you to closer to 100 here on this show. Brittany, my husband and I saw a gas price of $2.95 yesterday in Alabama. We went to lunch yesterday in Alabama at a place called Lambert's Cafe. $2.95 a gallon. That's pretty cheap all of a sudden compared to, what was it, $5-6 a year and a bit ago? Wasn't that crazy for a while? Gas could go lower, though. It could even go lower. Who knows? Okay, I got some deals for you. All right, let's talk some cruise deals because some of you ask me every week, okay, Bruce, what have you found? What cruises would you recommend, or what could be kind of a cool cruise to consider? Well, here's something. Here's one for you to consider. Let me grab my phone and let me fire it up here. The first cruise I have is a 13-night cruise on the Caribbean Princess, which is from July 22nd. And it's starting from Fort Lauderdale, July 22nd, Fort Lauderdale, to Quebec City. I mean, you don't get cruises like this very often. Look at this itinerary right here, right there. See, the very bottom, you start in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, just 30 miles north of Miami. And the first, that's Saturday the 22nd. The 23rd, Sunday, you're at sea. On Monday the 24th, you're in Norfolk, Virginia. On the 25th, you have a sea day. And on the 26th of July, Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn, New York, baby. You're in the Big Apple, and enjoy New York, at least for 12 hours. Then you've got Newport, Rhode Island. I guess we're in the Hamptons, July 27th. July 28th, Boston, Massachusetts. July 29th, Bahama, Maine. Get the crab sandwiches going. Sunday, July 30th, St. John, New Brunswick. Monday, July 31st, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Tuesday, August the 1st, Sydney, Nova Scotia. Oh, you're going to see some beautiful things. Then you have a sea day on August the 2nd. August 3rd, Quebec City. August 4th, Quebec City. You get 48 hours in Quebec City on board this ship. This is a wonderful cruise. And what's neat about it as well, the price is pretty good too. If you want an inside room on this cruise ship, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think this, no, that's not it. I got the wrong photo. Sorry, I don't have a photo of the ship today, but you're going to get on the Caribbean Princess. I'm going to guess she looks an awful lot like this one right here on the Sky Princess. It's going to look a lot like that ship. Anyway, you want to take an inside room for 13 nights? How about $785? Or Ocean View, $871. You want to grab a balcony, $1,456, just over $100 a day. And for a suite, you're talking $2,047. Now, the inside cabins and Ocean View balcony, they'll give you a $60 cabin credit. But more importantly, if you're a shareholder of Carnival stock, you own 100 shares of Carnival, I think you can get a $200 cabin credit as well on top of that. So this cruise, all the way to Quebec City from Fort Lauderdale. You get $260 in cabin credits. Um, all your meals, some nice stops, beautiful scenery, pretty nice cruise. One to consider. Okay, so that's the first one. The second cruise I found, this happens to be a 14-night cruise. June 18th is the beginning date on the new Staten Dam. Now, this cruise is from Copenhagen in Scandinavia, Copenhagen to Copenhagen return. And here is your itinerary. Am I correct on this, Bruce? Are you correct on this? Yeah, actually, it's not Scandinavia. I apologize. It's actually a Norwegian, Iceland, and Scotland cruise. That's what this actually is. So forgive me for that. Okay, you leave Copenhagen on Saturday, June the 18th, just around the longest day of the year. You have a sea day. You end up in Bergen, Norway on the 20th of June. The 21st of June, you're in Ålesund, Norway. On the 22nd, you have a sea day. And then you end up in Iceland on Friday, the 23rd. And if you can pronounce these locations, I will give you brownie points. I can say Reykjavik. I don't know about that first one, that A.K. Akureyri in Iceland, then Isafjordur or something, then Grundarfjörður, Reykjavik, I can say, and then Djúpivíkur. Okay, you get all that? Those are your stops in Iceland. I'm sure they are going to be wonderful. I am certain that you are talking about enjoying some really neat scenery here. You're going to have some phenomenal day trips. And I wouldn't be surprised if you end up in a couple of these thermal hot baths. You'll be allowed to visit some of those. And that's something I would absolutely sign up for. Anyway, once you leave Iceland, which is June 27th, you have a sea day on the 28th. And on Thursday, the 29th, you end up in Invergordon, Scotland. And on the Friday, June 30th, you're in Edinburgh, Scotland. Jen and I were in Edinburgh last year. And then from there, you have a sea day, and you end up in Copenhagen. Sunday, July the 2nd, a 13-day adventure, 14-day, 2-week cruise, 2 weeks of cruising on the new Staten Dam. That's a 5.5-star cruise line, Holland America. And here are your prices. You want to take an inside room for 2 weeks? How about $599? Ocean views $879. Balcony $959. There's got to be some phenomenal views there. Suite $1999 for 14 nights. This is good stuff. And of course, if you're a shareholder of Carnival, as I keep telling you, if you're a shareholder of Carnival, you're going to get at least $200, maybe a $250 cabin credit on top of that. That'll cover a good chunk of your tips, onboard activity, whatever you want to spend it on. Nice cruise. That sounds and looks pretty inviting, I got to say. All right. The third cruise, a 20-nighter. I found a 20-night cruise on this ship, the MSC Magnifica. This is another shot of the Magnifica. She has a covered pool area with jacuzzis and so on. She also has outdoor pools. The Magnifica is offering a repositioning cruise, October 31 departure from Genoa in Italy. If you have been in Italy at all during October and you want to head back to Miami, you can go by sea and really do it on the cheap. I'm telling you, you'll get on the ship Tuesday, October 31 in Genoa. You'll be Wednesday, the 1st of November. You'll be in Civitavecchia, Italy. That's the home port for the city of Rome. You will pick up a day trip by bus into Rome if you haven't been there already, and enjoy Rome for the day. Tuesday, November 2nd, you have a sea day. Friday, November 3rd, Palma de Mallorca. Palma de Mallorca, just south of France and Spain. You'll have a day there. Monday, November 6th, a sea day. Tuesday, November 7th, Funchal, Madeira. You're in the Azores area, the Canary Islands. Azores and Canary Islands. So your next day is Santa Cruz, Tenerife, Canary Islands. And then you'll say goodbye to land for a while. And you'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sea days until you end up on Wednesday, November 15th in San Martin. You're going to be in San Martin, Phillipsburg in San Martin. That's where you grab a cab and you head to the airport and you're standing on the beach and the planes are landing over your head right on the runway across the street. Tortola, British Virgin Islands on Thursday, November 16th. San Juan, Puerto Rico for 2 nights, Saturday and Sunday, November 18 and 19, San Juan, Puerto Rico. And then Miami on Monday, November 20, the end of your cruise. 20-night cruise, repositioning across the Atlantic Ocean with a bunch of stops. We're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, 8 stops for 9 days on this repositioning cruise. That is really good. Now, here's the deal of a lifetime. You want to take an inside room with this, $449, 20 nights. That is $22.50 a day a person for your base fare. Ocean View, $739. Balcony for 20 nights, $1,029, just over $50 a day for a balcony. Are you kidding me? A suite, $2,600, no super deal there. But balcony or inside room for $449, inside room. Are you kidding me? That would be pretty cool. That is bargains. If you're a backpacker, you're a traveler looking travel on the cheap, here you go. Here's a cruise. I mean, $449 to $1,029 for a balcony, 20 days, all the way from Genoa in Italy, all the way to Miami. That's one hell of a cruise. I can imagine that any of the youngsters out there, some folks in their early 20s who are doing a bunch of hiking through the Alps and the Dolomites and whatever bicycling they're doing in Italy and what have you. You're all worn out. You've worn yourself down to a pencil. You're nice and skinny. You get on this cruise ship for 20 days of cruising. You are going to eat your weight in food. They're going to lose money on you. They're going to lose all kinds of money on you eating them out of that food. Fantastic. Anyway, there you go. That would be one heck of a cruise. Anyway, something to think about. Spicy. Here we go. Number 42. There you go. Thank you, Spicy. Brittany's saying that if my husband had not re-enlisted in the Army, he'd have gotten out today. Well, he's back in for another hitch, I guess. Spicy, I'm going to take a 7-day cruise to Alaska. And what hidden fees and charges should I look out for? Hopefully, I want to do this in August. Well, they're not that hidden. You've got to really decide whether or not you want to buy any kind of drink packages. Do you want to have any specialty dining packages? Obviously, if you're going to order a drink from a bar without any kind of a package or whatever, you're going to pay. Now, if you want to save some money, a trick to save some money is go to the casino on board the ship and then play a slot machine and ask, hit the assist button, get a waitress over, they'll give you a free drink in the casino. You order whatever you want, and you might get a free drink or two out of the casino. Give the waitress $1 tip every time, just as a little hi, thank you very much. Nothing wrong with paying $1 or $2 in tip money instead of $8 to $10, $12 for a drink. That's one way to save a little bit of money and enjoy. But hidden charges, you're gonna run into tipping, mandatory daily tip charge fees. Obviously, if you're going to book a cruise to Alaska in August, you're going to want to go to check with a travel agent or check on vacationstogo.com and see if you can find a cruise that's offering any kind of a deal. Maybe there's a package deal available that includes internet, 1 or 2 specialty dining, maybe a drink package is included, maybe a gratuities are included, all in for a set price. You got to check what a regular price is without that stuff, and then check the price with this stuff and see for yourself if it's worth your while or not. Okay. If you're going to go to the spa, you're going to have a visitation cost depending on the cruise line. If you want a massage or a manicure, pedicure, that's extra. But you're on vacay, you might want to splurge. So check into it. But there's really nothing else to worry about. Check it out, see what's going on. I hope you have a good time. I hope you have a good weather and a good cruise. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight for the show. I hope you enjoyed it tonight. Did you learn anything new today? 45 thumbs ups have come in. Thank you, everybody, for these thumbs ups already. Very appreciative. Hi, Bruce. I'm very late, says Diane. How you doing, Diane? Number 44 thumbs ups. Thank you, Diane. Appreciate that very much. If the rerunners out there, if you're watching on the rerun, hit the thumbs up button for us and give us a little boost. That would be really appreciated. That helps every time. We get 100 thumbs ups every show. Every Monday, we get 100 thumbs ups. It's amazing. It's amazing. Right now, 45 are here from the gang that have come by. Make sure that Mr. Strickland doesn't catch you hanging around this channel without giving us a thumbs up. He'll give you a slip. Don't be a slacker. Come on and help us out. Thank you, all of you who have hit the thumbs up button tonight. Number 46 just came in. How about that? Traveling with Hayden. When is your next cruise? Oh, man, I don't know for sure. Jen and I are looking at the possibility of either a Scandinavian cruise, a Scottish Isle, UK, Ireland cruise, or a Mediterranean cruise. We are thinking of one of three, but no commitments have been made. There may not be a cruise. There might be, there might not be. We don't know yet. We're still in the planning stages, which we'll nail down in the next week to 2 weeks. All our flights are going to be figured out, and then we have to figure out the itinerary of it all, and we'll figure out what's going on. There's a couple of things happening in the background that I'm not going to bore you with that may or may not interfere with a cruise, and we'll see what's going on. So that's all I know at the moment about the next cruise. Travel with Hayden Cruise Line, ships, any thoughts? No, we're open to Holland America. We're open to Celebrity, Royal Caribbean, MSC possible, P&O maybe. No cruise line we wouldn't throw out. Viking Ocean Cruise might be or might not be available to us. I don't really know. I'm not thinking of a river cruise this year. We weren't thinking that direction, but we were thinking ocean cruise if it was going to happen. It might go out of Southampton, might go out of Copenhagen, might start out of Barcelona, might start out of Rome. Nothing here. Anyway, I am studying here, but I hit the thumbs up, says Double D. Thank you, Double D, for the thumbs ups, and all of you who've been out there helping out with the thumbs up meter, 47 and counting. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Folks, I will see you next Monday right back here for Traveling with Bruce. We'll get together. It'll be June when I get back to you. Look forward to seeing you. Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy the hopefully wonderful weather wherever you are. And make sure to say hi to us next Monday for the 7 o'clock show for sponsor members, 8 o'clock for everybody else. Look forward to catching up with you. Thank you to all of you for being here. Robert, thank you. Good night. I'm going to see you either next week or tomorrow. You got it, buddy. Some of you might be joining me tomorrow morning for the Stock Markets with Bruce show. Thank you for that. Look forward to those folks visiting me there. Donnell, thank you, buddy. Enjoyed the show. Have a good week. You have a good night, my friend. Get some sleep. Get some time off and get a rest. Thank you, and have a great time with the guys. I'm looking forward to hearing from you after you get visitations. Stephen Butler, thanks, Jen and Bruce. Thank you, Stephen, so much. And thank you, everyone else. Double D, Travel with Hayden, Diane Flowers, Spicy Android, Brittany Anderson, as always. Larry Blake, thank you. Isaac, thank you. Sylvia, Alan Carter, Kevin Gonzalez, Jason Kimmons, thank you. Louise Lantier, Benway 23, Tom Henry, of course. Susan R., thank you so much for being with me. Rocky Grasso, always here. Susan R. Who else was here today? Kirk Brunson's YouTube and Facebook channel. Thank you, Kirk Brunson, for being here as always. Appreciate it. Cruising on the high season travel. Thanks for being here. J&N Travel, thank you for being around. Alberto, so thanks for saying hi to me. Jeff Dynan from Down Under. Thank you, sir. Kate PM was here. Daryl Watts was here. Thank you all. Ms. M, Stephen Butler, Jason Kimmons, Ms. M again. Who else was here today? Oh, Ken Kareka, of course, and Janet, thank you. And of course, thank you to our friends from Shady Hill Homestead and Jeannie Lavinghouse and Bill from East Tennessee, as always, for popping in to see us every week. Thank you all so very much. I look forward to hopefully catching up with some of you very shortly, certainly on this New York portion of our European return trip. Good night, Uncle B from Double D. Jason, wow, show ending already. Have a good night, Bruce. Plane just landed. Number 47, I'm spicy, laughing out loud, just plain stupid. She says, Double D, thank you. Pete Hoskins, cheers from Sydney. Pete, I hope to catch up with you in November. We're going to be down under. Jen and I, we're going to be down there. Hopefully in sometime in November, we can see you and we'll get together for a cool one. Thank you all for another pleasant chat and another pleasant get together. Have a great week. See you all next Monday. And for these thumbs ups, now 51 of them. Here we go. Thank you. 51 thumbs ups and counting. Keep those coming in on the rerun, everybody. We'll see you next Monday, everybody. Take care. Stay healthy and bye for now.